Dick Cheney, also on the talk show circuit, and he talked to George Stephanopoulos said this week, and he had a number of interesting things to say. First of all, he says the Republican campaign in this 2006 election is going gangbusters. So, once again, in the alternate universe that Dick Cheney lives in,
I believe he said the Democrats are in their last throes.
You know what, though? The Republicans, there's the old phrase, the power of positive thinking. And they always think positively. I mean, they always go forward positive. They've never said one negative thing about anything that they've done, admitted to any mistake, had any regret on what they've done. But you know what? It continues to go well for them.
There's something
politically.
Publicly, you're right, Joe. Except that many actual Republicans on the ground, I don't just mean voters, but congressmen are being very candid in a lot of articles.
I don't mean them. I mean like the higher ups in the administration, including the president, Dick Cheney, and Donald Rumsfeld.
It's true. Politicians are notoriously optimistic all the time. Republicans are. They are. God bless them. They are. And it does feed it a little bit. And, of course, what I want to know is what's privately in their heads. And I can't imagine that Dick Cheney and George Bush aren't like, oh, this is going to be bad. Or I wonder if they're afflicted with the same kind of doom and gloom that, plagues my life every day. Mm-hmm. That, I won't get there on time. The Democrats will lose. For some reason, 4 field goals will be missed in the Colts-Patriots games, and they won't score 48 points. Inexplicably, and of course that happened.
But if I was Dick Cheney, I'd be down in an entire bottle of Tums a day.
Right, but I'm thinking, I'm wondering, and one reason why I won't make the predictions is that, I'm thinking, how is it possible that we're going to gain 2 seats in the Senate and 7 in the House? How's that going to work out? Because I know it's going to happen, right? But I wonder whether they're afflicted with that. Does gloom and doom actually exist in their lives, or do they just totally push it out?
Well, Jill, you said you'd down a bottle of Tums. I think what Cheney would do is down a bottle of Jack Daniels and then shoot a friend in the face. And, they know how to be negative. I mean, look at what they do to the Democrats, right? They definitely know how to get negative. But they put out this spin that Iraq is going well, they're going to win all the elections, etc. And I think in the short term, it works.
It worked for a long time.
It worked for a long time. But in the long term, eventually, and I think that's what's happened now, eventually people think you're nuts. Because you are nuts.
Yeah,
if you think Iraq is going well, at this point, everybody's onto it.
You're
nuts.
But we said that 2 years ago, that if you had to still continue to vote for a Republican and still think the war just wasn't a complete failure, you were absolutely nuts. We said that 2 years ago. And there's still a good amount of people that don't believe the war in Iraq is all that bad, and they would still go forward and vote for Republicans.
Well,
and keep this party in office.
Jill, I agree and disagree. I mean, when you look at the national polls, the country has caught on. Overwhelming majorities realize the Iraq war has gone terribly, and it was a mistake in the first place.
But it's a question about what to do and how to proceed forward that's up for debate.
Well, and the part where I agree is people say, yes, it's a disaster. Yes, the Republicans did it. But when it comes down to crunch time, they're like, I've always been a Republican. I love Republicans. That's what they programmed me for. I didn't take the blue pill, Jim Talent. Okay. And they go and they vote for that Republican they've always voted for. And then they wake up in the morning and they're like, what have I done? Why did I sleep with a gay male hooker while I was on meth? Okay. Why did I ruin my...
I never took the meth. I threw it out every time.
Oh, I see. And it was just
meth.
And it was just a back rub. I know. But so... Jill's making a terrific point. If you're a Republican out there and...
Oh, stop humoring me, Jank.
All right, I don't even want to get into that. So if you're a Republican out there and you think Iraq has been a disaster, Katrina was a disaster, and the budget deficit is a disaster, but you're still going to vote Republican, you're nuts. You're nuts just like they are, because they're not going to change it. They're going to do all the terrible things again, and they're playing you for a fool, and if you go along with them, you are a fool.